There are so many different types of delicious Italian food. Today, I'm going to show you one of my favorite foods of all time, stuffed shells. I'm going to show you how to make the tomato sauce. I'm going to show you how to cook the shells, and I'm going to show you how to make the filling and cook them. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. So my name is Dennis Matarotondo. My YouTube channel is Dennis Matarotondo. So today I said I'm going to make a video about stuffed shells. But there's a reason that I'm making this video. My students are doing a YouTube contest in my school, and most of them have never made a YouTube video before. So I want to make a video, an instructional video, and show them how to do it from start to finish. So this is my first video as well, so I hope it goes okay. So let's get to making our stuffed shells. Okay, now before we start, I want to give you one quick safety tip. The most dangerous tool you have in your kitchen is a dull knife. So it's very important before you start cooking, anytime you start chopping, sharpen your knife. It's very simple. It takes seconds. This is all it is. It takes a few seconds, and your knife is super sharp, and it'll cut through your food like butter. And that's all there is. Okay, so let's talk about the ingredients to make our tomato sauce. We have 5 ingredients, super simple. We have half an onion, some garlic, pecorino romano cheese, and some shredded carrots, and the most important ingredient, our tomatoes. These are peeled plum tomatoes. They're absolutely delicious. So let's get started putting everything together. Okay, so let's start with chopping our vegetables. The first thing we have to do is dice our onion. It's actually super simple. Take your knife in your hand, do nice, even, straight lines. Just like that, keep your knuckles back. Go across, 1, 2, 3, and one more time. Nice, diced onions. Okay, beautiful. Perfect. Okay, now let's do our garlic. Okay, now these little pieces on the end, the roots, we want to cut them off. And dicing garlic is super simple. Take your knife, hit it, and look at that. Perfect garlic for our tomato sauce. Okay, now into a hot sauce pot, add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So now we're going to add our vegetables. Well, we're going to add our garlic, onions, and carrots. Okay. Now here, we don't want to fry our vegetables. We're doing something called sweating the vegetables. So all that is, we're going to cook the vegetables so they release their natural sweetness. It adds a wonderful taste to the tomato sauce if you do it this way. You got to give it a good stir. And it's all going to melt together, and it's going to look really wonderful. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes and our vegetables are done sweating. Let's take a look. You can see the onions are clear and the carrots are a little less orange. We're ready for our tomato sauce. Come on. There we go. Now, I said I have my plum tomatoes, right, that I crushed by hand. Let's slowly add it to the tomato sauce. Okay. Now, let's add our pecorino romano grated cheese and some Italian seasoning. In the Italian seasoning, you have parsley, oregano, and basil. They give a wonderful taste to any Italian dish, especially tomato sauce. All right, give it a quick stir. Put the heat up to high at this point, but be careful, you do not want to burn your tomato sauce. Once it comes to a boil, you're going to turn the temperature down to low medium. Okay. Now, let's add a touch of balsamic vinegar and give it a stir. And that's it. That is our super simple tomato sauce. Okay, so now let's start by adding our cheeses. We're going to start by adding 2 cups of ricotta cheese, about 2 cups. Then we're going to add our mascarpone. About 1 cup. Okay, then let's add some freshly grated Parmesan cheese. Actually, this is a very salty cheese and it goes really good with the ricotta. Okay. Perfect. And finally, let's add our mozzarella cheese. Okay, now, something that I think we should do is we need to crack our eggs and beat them outside of our cheese. So real quick, okay, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, let's add a pinch of salt. Okay, let's give them a mix. Perfect. Okay, now add our egg mix to our cheese. Let's add our Italian seasoning again. And the secret ingredient to a delicious stuffed shells, a little bit of nutmeg. It's the secret ingredient. It brings out the flavor of the cheese. So now, let's give it a good mix. Okay. Mixing nicely, we're almost done. Now we got to give it a taste to make sure it is seasoned properly. It actually needs, it's delicious, but it needs a little more pepper. There we go. We have our filling for our stuffed shells. Okay, so now the next step. Put a pot on the stove and boil some water. And we're gonna add our shells. Right, they're pretty cool looking, right? And we're gonna add them to the water, and then when we're finished, after they're cooked, we're gonna add our filling. So let's start adding this to the water. This is about 500 grams or just over a pound of pasta. And of course, all over my face. That's all right. It looks like a lot because it is a lot. All right. Now, the next thing we have to do is add salt to our boiling water. True Italians believe that when you cook pasta, it should taste like the ocean. Okay, our shells are done cooking. So now what we're going to do is we're going to transfer them into another bowl and we're going to run them under cold water. The reason we put it under cold water is we want the pasta to stop cooking. And that's really, really important. Okay. So the pasta is running under cold water. Again, it's running under cold water to stop the pasta from cooking. Again, if I was cooking a ziti or spaghetti, I wouldn't do this. You want the starch on the pasta. But in this recipe, it's very important you cool the pasta down before you cook it. Again, so we're going to put it in the oven and cook it for another 20 minutes. Our next step will be filling each shell with our cheese. Okay, as you can see, our tomato sauce is finished. It's absolutely delicious. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of our tomato sauce and we're going to put it in our pan. The reason we put it at the bottom is it prevents it stops the pasta shells from sticking to the pan. Just like this. Make sure it's all covered. A little more. That should be great. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take our shells and we're going to stuff them with the cheese. So we're going to take a little bit of cheese and put it just inside the shell, just like that. And we're going to put it inside our dish, just like that. Okay. So the shells are really soft, so you have to be really careful you don't crush them. Okay, we are almost ready to put it in the oven. Now our next step is we're going to take some tin foil and we're going to put it over the top of the shells. But we do not want to seal it. We want to leave the sides open. We want the moisture that's still in the cheese to come out while it's cooking. Because if the moisture stays in, it becomes kind of soggy, waterlogged, and it's not very good. So we're going to leave the sides open. Alright, there we go. We put the tin foil on so the cheese doesn't burn. Okay, so let's put it in the oven. Okay, we're ready to put our shells in the oven. So now we're going to cook it for about 20-25 minutes, and we'll see how it goes. Okay. Alright, see you in 25 minutes. Okay, it just took... Okay, they are finished. They look absolutely delicious. It smells incredible in my apartment. So let's wait a couple minutes, let it cool off a little, and let's try one. Okay, let's give them a try. Okay, so now, let's just take a little tomato sauce. Put it over the top, just like that. Okay, and let's eat it. Let's try. Okay, moment of truth. Here we are. Here are our stuffed shells. All right, let's see how they are. They're still very hot, so be very careful when you bite into them. Mmm. Absolutely delicious. They came out fantastic. All right, everyone, that's the end of the video. What other types of Italian food would you like to see me cook on this channel? Please let me know in the comments below. Also, please click the like button and also please subscribe. Thank you very much.